been serving us so well. And I know you appreciate that. We should find ways to just say thank you and to give him a nod of appreciation. Others have done much too, but Marshall has just been tireless in his work. So let me just say that after Marshall's presentation, if there are questions that have been submitted, Corey will kind of parcel them out to the right people, and we'll have an opportunity to engage with your questions and to answer them to our best of our ability. But now, with no further ado, let me turn over to Marshall, and you get to see just what's been going on and what we're headed towards.
Thank you, Rabbi. I feel like this is the 47th anniversary of my bar mitzvah, because I've got more family, I think, on this Zoom meeting between Leslie and I than I did at my bar mitzvah. So it's comforting to see all the family support here I've got tonight. So thank you. And I do appreciate it. It's really been a great project to work on, and there's been a lot of people working, with me to make this a success. So without keeping up too much of your time, Corey, can you make me presenter so I can share my slides, please?
You should be able to.
Okay, all right. Let me try this then. Let me see something here. Share screen. Let me make sure I don't, let me go back to the thing. Give me just a second. Okay. All righty, here we go. Share screen. And, all right. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. So I figured I'd start this out a little bit to say, where did it all begin? In case you have forgot what the sanctuary looked like for 40 years, this is it, okay? But I'll let you know it looks way different right now. I'll share some progress photos and then show you the renderings of what we are calling phase 1 and phase 2 of the project will look like. And I think, one of the nice things about this too is we've been able to give to the community during this project, and that all the blue seats that we had in the sanctuary were donated to primarily the Montagnard community for some of their, I guess, churches, religious institutions. So they certainly didn't go in the landfill. They went to good use for hopefully another 40 years. I promise we took the names off the back of the chair, so you don't have to go to a Montagnard church to find your chair. We are moving those forward, so rest assured there. So what we currently have here, hopefully everybody can see these. Right now, what you see here, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you so you can see a little better, hopefully. Whoops, it's too big. Hold on one second. So this top picture, what you'll see here is this concrete section is the old bima. It has been removed and completely flattened out. And you'll see right here the framing for the new bima walls. Okay, so as you'll see these develop, you'll see what will take place. But the bima has been completely removed to allow us to put a new one in that'll allow for full 100% handicap wheelchair accessible access to the bima for anyone that needs it. What you're seeing down here is the ceiling of one of the side wings of the sanctuary, where we completely removed all the ceilings to take out all the old ductwork, all the old lighting, so that we'll go back with new ductwork systems and new LED lighting, not only to give a better look, but to make the building more efficient for the foreseeable future. So this is kind of what you're seeing here. In this picture here, excuse my artwork, but the yellow delineates the structural steel that we had to put in for the blue circle that will indicate the skylight that will go in and above the bima to allow for natural light to not only come into the space, but to allow for connectivity to the outdoors from inside the space. So we've had to go in, like I said, remove this middle section to come in and replace the structural steel that's holding the roof up. So it is amazing. One thing I've learned to do over the past time, I've been building buildings for 31 years, but I've never necessarily been able to do it via Zoom, but I'm learning how to build a building over Zoom, just like everybody else is adapting. What you see here is one of the stained glass sections being removed. These windows will be replaced again to allow natural light into the space. And you will see this framework here that has been put up that will allow for us to take the stained glass, put them in these frames, backlight them so that we can enjoy the beauty of the stained glass day or night. Those frames are actually being built by one of our own members that is doing a great job for us, Eva Turner's husband, Jamie. In here, you see the framework in the lower picture on the rear wall of the sanctuary. There'll be one on both sides that will turn into, you can see in the perspective of the upper picture, that'll be bookshelves to permanently have nice bookshelves and talit racks in the back so you can hang talit in the sanctuary and not on that piece of furniture we had before. They'll be in there. And like I said, the books that were currently stored in kind of, I'll say, rooms to go type bookcases will be a permanent fixture on each side of the rear of the sanctuary. So it gives us a lot of storage, cleans up the space, and makes it nice and neat. Next here, you'll see this is the main front lobby where we've taken out all the ceiling work. We're replacing all the ceiling, all the lighting, and everything in there. So both here and the connector corridor between the sanctuary and the social hall, all that ceiling work has been taken out. It will be replaced, like I said, with new lighting, new HVAC systems, and new ceilings. These are just some of the hallway pictures. These hallways going back down near the bathrooms and near the small chapel here. All that wall covering has been taken down. Those walls have been prepared for paint and/or wall covering again, as well as these ceilings have been taken out since this picture to refresh everything in those spaces that are contiguous to the sanctuary. So I think the next picture is probably the big reveal for those of you that have seen it. I'm sorry for the repetitiveness, but hopefully a lot of has this. Oops, well, I guess I need to rescale this right quick. So that is the rendering of what the sanctuary will look like. Minus one minor change here on the bema. We've actually are probably going to switch this to carpet. But my point is, you see the new seating here. You see where this is one of the windows that is allowing view of the outside, and the stained glass have been moved to either side of those. And so these are the natural light coming in. You see up here part of the skylight, the new lighting. You see on either side of the bema, both here and over here, is full handicap wheelchair accessibility up to the bema. We have our reading table, our Cantor's, what I'll call our Cantor's lectern here, that is also fully handicap accessible. This table will raise up and down so that if someone is wheelchair bound, we can lower that table to allow them to read whatever they choose to read up there at the time. And new Torah holders in the back. And of course, then the new ark that will be current. So this ark is currently being fabricated from a company called Lobby Furniture, as well as the chairs. It's a Israeli-based kibbutz that is making not only the bema furniture, the ark, but the chairs also are all coming directly from a kibbutz in Israel. Again, kind of a connection point that the rabbi will talk about with connection back to Israel, whether we have connection to the outside with the natural light and several connection points. And then the ark, or the bema, the ark will be framed here with Jerusalem stone. Okay, we don't have the picture of any kind of artwork on the wall at this point in time. This rendering was done a little bit sooner. Give you another perspective here of what that space will look like. Again, just from a different view, and you can better see the wheelchair handicap ramp up there. The new bema, of course, is only 12 inches high as opposed to about 4 feet prior. So again, even someone that wants to go up that does not need the handicap ramp, it'll be easier to negotiate 2 steps than the 4 steps we had prior. Okay, so those are, and you'll see here the seating. This is a flexible seating arrangement. These chairs are movable, will be movable, so we can adapt. We do have enough seating to handle the roughly 300 chairs or spots we had prior to the renovation, but we also have the availability to stack and store these chairs. So if we need a more intimate setting in here, then we can scale down the number of seats we need in here to have a smaller group setting, which was one of the ideas that was brought to us that the rabbi had in a previous congregation that he wanted to be able to do. So we've adapted to that also. So like all good construction projects, they tend to grow once you get into it. And so another one of the wish lists that the rabbi had, and I wholeheartedly supported, was the fact that our main business entryway to the building, which is the small chapel entry, was not very warm and inviting. You came in, you had to turn the corner to see our receptionist, Kathy, and kind of had to search around. And again, it wasn't real warm and welcoming. So as phase 2 of this project, we are currently in design for what we'll call a welcome center that will be a 1,200 square foot building addition in front of the small chapel entrance. And so what I'm going to show you next are the concept drawings for that space. I will tell you, we do have an opportunity to name that space. If anybody is interested in a naming opportunity for the, let's say, the Eli Havivi Welcome Center or Jason Cathcart Welcome Center, I will be glad to talk to you about that opportunity. So without any further ado, I will show you, let me admit somebody that's trying to get in here, the concept of what that will look like. So as far as the floor plan goes, this is currently the entrance doors into the small chapel entrance currently. The bathrooms sit here. This is the entranceway to the Levin Chapel, and then these are the administrative offices. What will we be adding is this space right here, and we will turn the entranceway to come in basically in line with the sidewalk that is currently in front of the building when you park in front of the building. So we'll turn the entrance to have it perpendicular to where we are now. Our reception area will be moved from where it is currently right here to this area right here. So it'll be right in plain view of everybody that walks in the space. And then we will have soft seating set up in this space for a little informal gatherings, for kids that are waiting for their parents to pick them up from bar or bat mitzvah lessons, to be able to sit out there. There'll be glass where you can see, and just a nice, warm, and welcoming space. Okay. So with that, this is a view. Please don't mind the color of this current brickwork, but this is the space right here. This is the curved entranceway we currently have now. We have a covered drop-off area, so someone could pull up right here, drop somebody off undercover, and they could come into the building at these doors right here into the new Welcome Center. Okay. Another view of it is looking down this current sidewalk that we have at the front door parking spaces, or the chapel entrance parking spaces. You'll walk straight down that sidewalk or across here if you get dropped off and enter into the building right here. Okay. Of course, you see the existing building sitting here where you've got some storage and bridegroom's areas over in this area here. So this will be the new entranceway into what we'll call the Welcome Center, if you will. All right. So this is a perspective view standing basically in the doorway of the entrance. You'll come in, again, you'll be looking at the reception desk. You'll see the soft seating here and here. And you'll walk through. When you walk through here, this is the current entryway to the existing facility here. So that'll be an opening, a cased opening there. So you walk in and walk here. You could walk down this hallway to the administrative areas. There's the entrance to the Levin Chapel right there. And notice we've got a clear story opening here to, again, let natural light in and make it very warm and welcoming into the space. Then we have a view from the other side. So this is, again, you'd walk in the door here, you'd come in here. This space here delineated by this brown carpet is currently where Kathy sits, where the workroom was, and where our marketing person sat right here. So these are currently offices. If you look at this little area here, that's the area you go down to either turn right to go to the boardroom or left to go to Corey's office up that way. And the intent of this area will become, again, meeting space, informal or formal meeting space, or however you choose to use it. Again, the rabbi's concept is to give us a connectivity point so that even as people are coming through the building, they can stop if they need to, talk to somebody, use this as a volunteer area. So if you're in the building, you can see people doing volunteer stuff. Again, have a little informal gathering spot here to, again, allow for greater connectivity, more open space. And if the rabbi wants to say more about that afterwards, we can, but I think that's basically our concept there. So with that, the rabbi promised at Zoom Minion 2 nights ago that I was going to do a dance at the end of this. So I've prepared my dance. I do want to say that I know I mentioned naming opportunities. We do have naming opportunities at any level or giving opportunities at any level. We do have naming opportunities that start at $2,500 and go all the way up to currently $250,000 for naming the Welcome Center and anything in between there. I will be glad to talk to anyone that would like to. We're about $150,000 away from our really what our third phase goal. Our third phase is the renovation of the administrative offices. So the boardroom, the rabbi's office, Corey's office, Lucy's office, and that kind of stuff to refresh, Jason's office to refresh all that, paint, carpet, ceiling in that area. We do feel we've raised enough money to be able to complete the second phase. So that's why we're moving forward with that, as well as do the first phase. So without any further ado, I will preface this to say 29 years ago, when we had our first child, I learned how to delegate certain Jewish responsibilities. And that delegation was to a mohel. Okay. So tonight I will delegate my dance because, oops, hold on a second. Let me just do this because I do not want to embarrass myself or anyone else. Oops, let me see. I lost Zoom here. Hold on a second. Stop share. I'm going to do this and I will turn you back over to who you need. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to go here and share. And let me move this out and I will do my dance. And here it is. So there's my dance with Spot the robot dog. With that, I'll call it quits. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marshall. It just goes to show that when you're giving Marshall a tongue-in-cheek ribbing, it will come back to haunt you sometimes. Um, Let me just say, I hope you're as wowed and impressed with those images. I think it'll be just amazing. Um, when we reflect back across Jewish tradition, even back to the Psalms and the Torah, we note kind of the duality of human existence, that spiritually and emotionally, we are at times able to soar above our physical structures, our physical space, our physical limitations even, to exceed and go beyond and the things that surround us. And at the same time, oftentimes the space we occupy can inspire us, can make it easier to be together in community, can help us come together and to learn and be inspired. I think that one of the things that we're expecting to see is that these new spaces are going to make it easier and just more pleasurable in some ways to come together as a community, to study together around that big table on Shabbat mornings, to come into the sanctuary that's filled with natural light, and where getting onto the bima, whether you're in a wheelchair or using a walker or just walking up it, the steps yourself, that everyone has an easy way to access the sanctity of that space. And I think that will make everyone feel good. Not just people who have mobility issues, but all of us will feel like it's a more inspiring, more connected space because we can see the ease with which everyone moves around. So looking forward to that tremendously. And as Marshall said, if you picked up on it, the reader's table, really amazing that this kibbutz has been putting so much thought into making worship space accessible. And they're doing that in Israel, and we're able to get the benefit of it. So that table is pneumatically operated. So the gabbai with a foot pump is going to be able to both lower the table. So if someone has an aliyah or someone wants to read Torah who is in a wheelchair, will be able to lower that table and then pump it right back up afterward in a way that's friendly with Shabbat. So I think that's just one kind of remarkable demonstration of what we're looking at. Um, a couple of questions have come in, and let me try my best to answer them. One is about the flooring on the bima. While we do love that wood, that kind of the wood look of the whole piece and tying to the bima and the walls, and thinking through with a number of people what that might sound like or feel like for people either in heels or perhaps a rabbi standing there for long hours on high holidays. The decision was made to, while the stairs and the rim will still have that hard wood, there'll be a inset section that will be carpeted so that it's a little bit quieter. And it's also that bima is built on a metal structure so that if someone does, God forbid, fall, it's a softer surface to fall on and much more forgiving than the cement slab that we had before. So I think that will be a beautiful thing too. So there will be carpeting on the top of that bima to make it a little bit more comfortable. Next, it will not change in any way how we are able to open the space for the high holidays. In fact, I'm hoping that it's going to make it a little bit more united. That having the blending of the chairs from Kibbutz Lavi into our chairs in the center walkway and the social hall will be a little bit more seamless. That will still be fully there for us. What is the anticipated completion date? Well, what I have from Marshall is that the chairs and the bima, the chairs and the ark are going to be, in the other furniture, are going onto a boat sometime in the middle of February to the end of February. And we expect to have them here by the end of February and those will be the last things installed, as we say, God willing, or as our Muslim friends say, Inshallah. Right, those will be the last things installed, and that should hopefully be by the first week in March. Of course, God willing, and all the poo-poos that we need to make. So the sanctuary should be done by the beginning of March at some point. The second phase that Marshall was just showing us is still in the planning stages. It has not been permitted yet. So I believe that's more of phase 2, and if we're able to do phase 3, those are more spring into the summer kind of things in terms of that. So the kibbutz is coming from Kibbutz Lavi, which is a kibbutz that's been making, I don't know if you're familiar with the story of kibbutzim, many of them started just, before independence, being able to grow some chickens and kind of eke out existence and then grow food. But the ones that have thrived and survived have all turned towards some form of industry. And Kibbutz Lavi picked furniture, and in particular, sanctuary furniture. And you can find their chairs and other pieces all around our country and all throughout Israel. So they've been spreading that, kind of growing from chairs into arcs and arc doors and furniture. So that's coming from Kibbutz Lavi. And what is the working plan for Pesach services? I remain hopeful that by Pesach, we will be at a place where enough people are inoculated and enough, and that the viral spread has lowered enough that we'll be able to do some form of services in person. I might be being too optimistic. That, of course, will be in the hands of our doctors and other people who are making, kind of forming that policy from our COVID-19 committee. Some members of which have already gotten inoculated, so that's kind of cool. But hopefully we're going to see an increasing accessibility of the vaccine, and we're going to be able to be, I hope that by the end of March there for Pesach, we might have a chance of being together in person somewhat. And on, nice days, maybe we'll be able to be outside for daily minyan. We're going to, as soon as we can, as soon as it's safe, we're going to find ways to connect and to be together once again. So I think those are the questions I got. Is there anything, right, Corey? If you have questions along the way, we're here. We'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. I try reaching out as much as I can, but we've been trying to, each of these creative programs, we're doing it from scratch and having to think everything through. Even like on Thursday, I'm participating in a Purim idea slam with colleagues from the Rabbinical Assembly, hopefully to come up with some creative ideas for us all. But we're doing our best, and I really do appreciate you continuing to help keep the fire burning. That's really one of the things we have to do right now, is just keep it going so that we're able to come out strong on the other side. Let's thank God, of course, that so far our community has been very lightly touched by this pandemic. I'm going to presume that's from your wisdom and your carefulness, and let's hope and pray to God that we're able to retain that level of safety and not have the impact that so many others are having at this time. If you read, I don't know if anybody was able to watch the news tonight about the situation in California, but it is just truly horrible, horrible situation. And God willing, we're able to avoid that here. But I think our prayers have to go out to them and to hopefully inspire us to keep doing the right thing. As painful and as difficult as it is to be separated, I think I'd say the evidence is in our safety and security. So everyone, be safe. Before too long, it will be before too long. I mean, listen, we've been doing this for how long already, right? We've been doing this now for 9, going on 10 months. we can see the horizon from where we're standing. I remember, it's hard to remember, but like back in March, March, April, and May, had no idea what we were doing, how long this was going to go on for. And thank God it looks like we see a horizon now, an endpoint, an end to the tunnel, and we're going to do our best.